Good afternoon again, and welcome back, Realty Pros, to another week of Porterhouse Realty Talks. Today, we are talking about prospecting. We are going to continue to dive deeply into prospecting. So today, we're going to talk about what those prospecting activities look like, the different prospecting opportunities, the different target markets, and all those things that you'll be able to gather just from prospecting, okay? So as we begin today, I know that we've been given some assignments to each one of our agents. Mr. Porter, I see you are rejoining again, but you sent out a text message for our agents to begin the year with prospecting. This is 2022, our year of progression. What our goal is for this year is to dominate our local real estate market, and each and every last one of us has to meet our goals that we've set forth in our business plan in order to be able to do that. We have started our business plan meetings. So for each of you who've already met with me for your business plans, kudos. For those that are going to meet with me in the future, let's go ahead and let's get those meetings on the books. We have our office meeting for Monday the 24th, which is on Angela's birthday. So happy birthday. Shout out to you in advance. And for all of you that are going to be joining us virtually, please remember Monday, January 24th, 7 p.m. is our 2022 kickoff meeting. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. Looking forward to seeing you guys with all your cameras on so we can see your beautiful smiling faces there. And we have a lot of very exciting things for you guys on that day. You do not want to miss it. For all of your Realty Pro colleagues, you want to reach out to them and let them know you don't want to miss this 2022 kickoff meeting. We have some very good stuff for you guys. All right. So again, our conversation for today, we're talking about prospecting. So I'm going to open up the floor to you guys. And there have been a couple people that I've already kind of given you a heads up and said, hey, I want you to join in this conversation. And as always, each one of our Realty Talks are interactive. So unmute yourself, drop something in the chat, comment, join the conversation surrounding prospect. What are your guys' prospecting activities and goals for 2022? I'll go ahead and start by throwing that question out there. If anybody wants to go ahead and take the first answer.
Hi, Ms. Porter.
Hello, Anita.
Hello. So I wanted to just share with everyone, and I have to say this, is that, I also get a little bit nervous, like, oh my goodness, he's asking us to do that, but I thought, okay, I can do this because a couple weeks ago, Mr. Porter had challenged us all this is the beginning of the year, to go through our contacts in our phone and just send them out, something just, saying, hey, just reaching out to you, wanted to update my information and my contacts, just to kind of get some type of dialogue going with your contacts. And also in that, you're reminding them that, hey, I'm in real estate, I'm looking for business, And so initially I'm like, oh, wow, I don't want these people to, I don't know what, reject me. That's what it is, fear of rejection, And so, but I did it. I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this, And although I've not gotten through all of my contacts, I have started the process, and I went through and the first day I put in, a list of contacts and I sent out this text to them just saying, hey, how are you doing or whatever. And I'm, looking for those that are interested in buying and selling, and please, forward me their contact information. I'll reach out to them immediately, And from that, that day, no responses back. But the next day, I received a response back from someone that I had. And the funny part about this is that we go to the same church. We were in the same class. I don't remember. That lady does not look one bit familiar to me. But she reached back out to me. She said, hey, as a matter of fact, we're going to be moving to Georgia. We need to sell our house. I was able to schedule a listing appointment with her that I went on this past Saturday, and I'm expecting to hear back from her. I just reached out to her again, And she said, you know, they're still kind of going through some things. They told me what their concerns were. And we have not made our decision yet. However, I'm feeling good about you. And so we should be back in contact with you no later than this next Monday. So I'm expecting to hear back from them, you know, and them, you know, allowing me to help them to get their home sold. So that was just, you know, following the challenge. You know, you have to just put yourself out there and expose yourself for people to know what it is that you're doing and how you can help them. So I was excited about that.
Kudos, Anita. Thank you for sharing that. And that is excellent. Mr. Porter has given everybody that same challenge, guys. So for January, consistently, Mr. Porter, do you want to speak to the challenge that you gave them?
Yeah, first I want to apologize to Anita. And I want to apologize to everybody else. I forgot to tell you one important thing, Anita. So guys, make sure that you use and leverage technology in order to become more efficient. And I probably have said this in the past, but I probably didn't say it in the context, Anita. But guys, go to your app store, whatever that is. If you're on iPhone, it's the app store. If you're on one of those other transformer type phones, you know what your app store is. But you want to type in group text message app, and you want to download a good group text message app. And how you know it's good is that it pulls all your contacts in, you type one message, and then it sends it to everybody. That way, you're hitting everywhere. Because when you said you didn't go through your whole contact list, I kind of was puzzled, and I realized I probably did not tell you guys. That's really big. And then I also told you to remember to plug your phone in, because you will start to get responses because you're hitting everybody from A to Z. Speaking of which, there is actually one of the group text chats. It's called A to Z Contact Group. But there's plenty of them. I mean, there's tons of these text message group apps. But find one, and there's some of them that are free. When I found with the free ones is that they tend to take longer to upload your contacts and actually send out the message, but it will go. You just got to let it wait. But the response that you're going to get is tremendous, especially when you're texting everybody in your contact list. So that is not, it's not something I do every day in terms of, going through my contact list. You can do it that way. I like to leverage it through the technology and send out one text message. Hey, family, it's the new year. I'm updating my contact list. I just wanted to get your birthday and I want to get your birthday and a good email for you. That's the first one I sent out. The second one then says, by the way, hope you remember that I'm in real estate, and if you know anybody that's looking to buy. So then when I get the responses, I'm cutting and pasting the second messages. You follow what I'm saying? So it's like a conversation. And then people will respond, and then you break it down to the individuals. So the individuals say, yeah, I want to sell, I want to buy. Now you're creating listing appointments just like you did in Ethan. So as much as you can manage, that's the way I am, but you really want to download a good group text app from your phone, on your phone, and use that. Practice with it first. Send it to a couple of people that you know, and then if it really is really good, you can hit it one time and tell it to send to all your contacts, and bam, you'll be ready to rock and roll. So I wanted to give you that piece, but I want to give you kudos, but you got to be ready to follow up. So whatever day you set aside, you got crickets the first time. And if you download one of these group apps, it's gonna blow those people up, and then you're gonna need to be prepared to respond again. Keep your phone plugged in, because my battery died so quick. The first time I did it, I didn't know what was going on. But it was just because I got such a large response to that campaign.
What did you use, Mr. Porter?
That back then, when I first started using it, there was an app called Text to Group, and I still have it, but I think I was trying to help somebody find it, and it's either they don't offer it anymore, so there are other ones that are better, or they've changed their name. So what I say to you guys is, I don't know the newest one, and I probably can go on because I still use Text to Group because I already have it, but if I'm looking, I'm just looking at the rating. So I'm seeing this one has a 3,000 A to Z contacts, has a 3,000 reviews, 5-star rating. I might want to get at a shot. See if it's free. If it's not, if it's $1 or $2, I'll pay for it because it's worth it to me. Just to get that listing appointment, right, Anita?
Absolutely, because you're gonna get that money back as fast as you breathe. You'll get that money back from that investment because those aren't expensive. But a question that I have for you as far as those apps are concerned. So when you send it out in a group like that, my concern, the reason why I did it, well, I didn't know about the app, number one, but the reason why I did it the way that I did it is because I didn't want to put a lot of people on one single text thread. And so these people who don't know each other are getting responses back. I'm assuming that those apps don't work like that. Everybody does. Only I would receive a response back if someone responded.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
So that's the difference. Yeah, because you can easily put together a group list like what you're talking about, but that's not why you would get that app. You would get that app because it sends it one text, but it sends to everybody individually. Does that make sense?
Got it.
And then they're responding to you on their phone number with their. So the first thing they're going to send me is their email and their birthday. I'm going to lock that into my contacts tomorrow. I'm not going to be able to do that right now. You follow what I'm saying? Because now I'm responding to people and I'm sending out my second text saying, by the way, I appreciate your support with my real estate business last year. Many people sent me leads. Other people know people who are ready to buy. If that's you, give me a call. If you're ready to sell, I'll be happy to take your listing and get your property on and off the market so that you'd be happy. And if you're ready to invest, give me a call. That kind of thing. You send that out to them, and that's the second text that I send. It'll say, thank you for that information, by the way. Thank you for, responding to your birthday and anniversary, by the way. And then some people, it's personal. They're like, hey, hey, Shay. And I'll be like, hey. And then they'll, and then you have to have a conversation going. So it's like a day. You have to really make a day of it so that you can respond to people. Because that's the most important thing. Response and then the follow-up. And then all my buyers, I just have a nice list and I send them right over to Mr. Cooper after I put them in my contacts, because the next thing I'm doing the next day is I'm cleaning it up and putting them all in the contact list. I'm sending, the buyers over to Mr. Cooper right away so he can start processing and see if they can get pre-approved. And then I'm going to constant contact the following day and I'm putting everybody in constant contact on a drip campaign for either listing or purchase, depending on what they say, so that they can constantly be getting emails. Then I'm going to my Home Snap app. I'm opening my Home Snap up and I'm going to add these new contacts and I'm going to send them so that I'm their realtor. All of that happens like within that week. That's just my week. And now that's up and running. And then you go to your other, if you have other tools that you use, RPR or whatever, you use all of these multiple leveraging opportunities through your technology so that people are constantly getting, information from you all the time. And it starts with just this one. So it's not just a one and done. It's to build your pipeline and to build your sphere of influence.
That was very, very helpful information, Mr. Porter. Thank you for sharing that. Perfect. I want to piggyback on that and take us into another segment of discussion. Mr. Porter's talking about utilizing technology for efficiency in our prospecting, right? The name of the game is prospecting. That is what our primary role is as real estate professionals. You got to prospect so that you have leads generated for tomorrow, next week, next year, 2 years, 10 years, right? We've gone through our business plans, our business plan goals for 5 years and for 1 year, but how are you going to get to those goals? The way that you do it is with your prospecting. So I tremendously appreciate Mr. Porter bringing in the technology aspect so that we can see that there are ways that we can do it that is person by person, and those things are organic and they work. But if we want to reach the maximum audience in the least amount of time so that we are more efficient, then let's utilize that technology. It brings to mind one of the things that we've used on the calling side, right? There are a couple of different technologies that we can use for calls. If you want to make a call to somebody, because a number of us for your business plan, your action plans, it's calling a certain number of people per day. there are different devices or software or an app or a service that you can purchase that will make those calls. So whether it's a dialing system, or whether it's something like your slide broadcast that's going to leave a certain number of voicemails for you. Let's continue to engage this conversation about efficiency and utilizing the technology that we have available in order to do that prospecting, okay? Does anybody have any questions about that? Any thoughts or anything that they'd like to include?
One more thing, Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say this, guys. I forgot this last one. After you get the response that you get and you tell people that they're interested in buying and selling, and people say, okay, I'm going to help you. Say, you know, you can help me. Would you mind posting this on your social media? And you create a message saying, hey, family, my good friend Shay is an excellent realtor in the DMV. If you know somebody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest, and I'm going to add, or join or become a realtor, I'm going to add that this year. I highly recommend my good friend Shay. And say, if you can post that on your social media for me, along with my picture, and you send them a picture, and you send them that little blurb, a lot of people are cut and paste it. I had one guy do it, and it hit 30,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you have to have those little text messages, and they all in my notes, just like Darlene said. You just save them in your notes, and then you cut them and you paste them. You don't have to, because you get tired of typing. You can't customize every message, but you kind of got to have a message that's kind of built already to send the message that you're trying to convey. And then the last step, like I said, the last step is always asking for them to post you on their social media, because now it's a referral.
Excellent point. That is definitely utilizing the technology. All right, now let me ask this question in terms of prospecting. What are some of your prospecting activities that you have set so far for 2022? Aurelia, I see you've unmuted. Oh. So that's for anybody. And Aurelia, I see you've unmuted yourself. What are your prospecting activities? And that's for anybody, but I see you've unmuted, so go ahead.
Well, I want to start off by saying that we had a very productive day on yesterday. We have decided as accountability team, and I know that Joy and Darlene are on the phone, so you can chime in at any time, but we got together on Tuesday night and really worked on trying to get a strategy so that we can hit all areas, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. And we started out in the area where Darlene had just got a house sold in Manassas. We went out there. We had our flyers together. We had our scripts together as far as knocking on. We did door knocking. We actually were able to get, a lot of people weren't home, but we were able to get over 15 people that we did talk to individually. And we passed out the flyers. We were able to go through the community. We got the majority. I believe we passed out all of the flyers that we had, which were about 80 some flyers that we had. And we plan to continue to do that, to go to the different communities. We also scheduled, and we have agreed to actually do the showing of at least $1 million home as we go into these communities, so that we can be familiar with what's in the area. So we did go to $1 million home out in Manassas as well. And I believe Joy can speak to the wonderful video that she did on that, and Darlene can probably continue from there to let you know what their experience are. But we continue. And one thing we wanted to add, since we have the different various offices, like the one in Tyson's, we want to try to kind of include that as well. If we're in that area where we have one of the offices, Porterhouse offices, we want to visit that office so we can be familiar with where that office is and the location and everything.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing, Aurelia.
Joy and Darlene, do you all have anything you want to add to that?
Good afternoon, everyone. I think you summed it up really well, Aurelia. I can't think of anything that you list. The only other thing is, we did meet on Tuesday, and we decided that this would be our pattern every week. And that is to meet at the beginning of the week. Tuesday would be our day. And that would be the time that we kind of map out, what our plan is going to be for that upcoming week. We also decided that, on Thursdays, an hour before the training, that we would get together and kind of have a recap on what happened that week, what we did. Is there anything that we could do differently? What we learned? And then we also individually have different action items that we're responsible for doing. And during our recap on Thursday, we are supposed to report out. And our different group, our different accountability partners are supposed to make sure that they ask us, did you complete X, Y, and Z, whatever we're due to report out on Thursday prior to the training.
Excellent. Excellent, ladies. Darlene, do you have anything you want to share?
Really no, because they both summed it up. And I mean, it was just, we really enjoyed ourselves yesterday. And yesterday was, to me, that was a great way for me, especially in terms of my birthday. Because even when I did my business plan, I wanted it to be on my birthday, because I'm like, this is going to be how I start my year. And how I start my year is how I want to end it, productive. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted my meeting with you to be on my birthday. And then when I met, the three of us got together, that was just like the icing on the cake for me. So yesterday was really a good day. And I look.
You went out. You got cut off at the end there, Darlene.
Oh, I did? I'm sorry. And I just said I look forward to next week. Did you hear that part?
Got it now. Awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm driving. Okay.
So I do want to add, I think this is some very good information, even as far as the technology that's needed, and would suggest that when we come up with good apps and things like that, maybe we can share that on WhatsApp, so that, we know exactly where to go to be more productive. Because like you say, most of the time you're thinking that prospecting is, a foot walking, talking to individuals that you don't know, and it doesn't have to be that way. And that's included in it, but there's so much technology out here now that where you can hit a load of people, at one time, like you were saying, Mr. Porter, about the different, text and mobile, different ways that you can use the technology to get done what you need done.
Thank you.
Can I share?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Because this is on piggybacking on Aurelia talking about apps. I don't know if anybody else uses it, but I know I use Mile IQ.
Yeah.
And it's an app on my phone. I don't know if you guys use it, but it gives you a report at the end of the year. So when you're writing off your mileage, it's a really good app. So it's called Mile IQ. I don't know.
That's very timely, especially considering that we're approaching tax season, or we're in tax season. So kudos, Mile IQ for everybody.
And I've used it because Darlene suggested it, and it is excellent because it will separate your mileage between. It will ask you at the end of once it calculates for the day, it will tell you each trip that you've gone to, and it will say, do you want this as a personal trip or do you want it as a business trip? So you can get to select that, and then at the end it calculates your mileage. So it is a good app, and it's free.
Excellent, excellent. Kudos to each one of you. Does anybody else want to share what their prospecting activities are? What you have in your business plan for prospecting for 2022?
Well, I wanted to say
that device is giving feedback, Mr. Porter. Speak through the other one that you have.
Wrong one. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I just sent in the WhatsApp the A to Z. I like it. It looks like it's going to work the same as text to group. It is $1.99, but that's for lifetime access. So I went ahead and purchased $1.99. I sent it out to 5 people, and I think with the $1.99 access, I can send it up to as many people in the contacts as possible. So I'm gonna play with it, guys, but I sent it to you in the group chat. I mean, not in the group chat, in the WhatsApp, so that you can see it. All right.
Excellent. Portland. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Porter, for that. Mr. Porter and I were having a conversation about prospecting, as we always do, especially before Realty Talks. And I like the way that he framed the different prospecting endeavors that we'll do. He was talking about, kind of like baking bread. I would say it differently, but he was talking about the different ingredients necessary, right? You have your flour, you have your water, you have your yeast, you have your salt, depending on your bread maker, you may have a little bit of sugar or you may have something else in there. But what the purpose is, you have one main ingredient, but then you have all these other things that are added to it so that you bake a perfect cake. He used the illustration, and Mr. Porter, if you want to talk about that as well, it was like making a song, like a nice melody. You have one beat, that's your drum. You start out with your drum, but then you may add a little piano, then you add a guitar, and then you add your cymbals and all these things. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because as it pertains to marketing, there are various aspects of marketing, and I want for us to embrace them, right? There, as it pertains to prospecting, there are various aspects of the prospecting that we're talking about, and none of them are in isolation. They all work together like a symphony. So I hear, Aurelia, she's saying, okay, well, this is great because we don't have to just do hand to hand. You don't have to just do hand to hand. Hand to hand, however, is a very important component. Your technology is a very important component. You making calls or, having those conversations with people in person, whatever that looks like. Each of these are very important components. So we want you guys to think in terms of, adding, a note to your melody so that your prospecting is full and more robust. And knowing that this is something that you can continue to add to in your prospecting endeavors. As an example, Mr. Porter sent out the A to Z app. Now that's another component. You can send a text message to, all 1,000 of your contacts at one time. And that's going to be huge for some of you, because for those that have met with me thus far, that we've started with your sphere of influence, and we've started with prospecting, the organic foundational way, so that you're building a referral-based business. So for those that have already met, that you're going to need to reach out to your sphere of influence. Now you can do it all on one day with that one app, right? So because you have that efficiency, what else can you layer? Mr. Porter talked about HomeSnap. HomeSnap is something that we all have. HomeSnap is going to leverage your marketing so that you pull in your contacts into HomeSnap. It sends out emails to your contacts. It's going to send out a text message for, with market updates and all these things. But we're leveraging ourselves in several different fronts, both through our cell phones, our text messages, our conversation, but then through these add-ons that are going to make our business more efficient. Does anybody have any recommendations for anything that they've used, or any questions, anything that they'd like to add there? So go ahead.
While you guys are thinking, I was going to say, so Jasmine gave me, so, when we're talking, we got it, she's probing and saying, okay, well, what do you think is, some of the cornerstones of our business? How can we, build? And what we're always thinking about is you guys, like, what can we convey to you guys, and how can we convey it? And so we were talking about the one thing. We always want you to really become an expert at one thing, in terms of, if it's, you're focusing on listings, or you're focusing on working with your buyers, or you're focusing with doing, with working with investors, whatever you are, you want to focus on that one thing so that you're so deep in it that you can really speak with a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge. We don't want you to be a mile wide and an inch deep. We want you to be deep in something because that's your thing, and it's something that you're passionate about. It's something that you really love when it comes to real estate. It's something that you can talk about in a robust way and add to the conversation. So, for you, that's your flower. That's your main ingredient. Or if you're a musician, that's your drum beat. But while you're doing that, there's going to be other things that you're going to also need to incorporate. You don't want to miss out on the low-hanging fruit. If you want to focus on your listings now, to still collect those buyers as you go. And if you don't feel like running your buyers, hey, share them with me. I'll take 25%, give it to me. I'll take 25% all day long, or 50% if you want to be generous, but we can share those things. Those are the low-hanging fruit. That's the additive. That's your little water. That's this. Because in between, you're doing the thing that you're trying to focus on, you're going to have to continue to do other activities, but don't lose focus of the main thing. That's what I was trying to convey with Jasmine. You can never lose focus on the main thing, so that no matter what happens, and life events are going to happen to us all, guys. You know, we're going to walk down aisles, you know, whether we want to or not, and go through things. That's neither here or there. That main thing should be ongoing. And if you leverage in technology, that thing is set up for you to continue to have that operating while you're doing other things. But the other things, the personal contacts, is really where you make your money. It's not just the things that you've set up, but don't get to set up the main things. And then as you build upon, you're going to start having success. So I said, got to the point where you needed the bread and all that stuff. And this is the season where you should be putting everything together. This is what we're talking about, putting all of this stuff together. This is your flower. You know, we're talking about getting your listings, but don't forget the buyers. Let's get some buyers in there. Let's make sure you get a whole lot of buyers. Let's talk about investors. Let's continue to recruit real estate agents in the portal. You're getting all of these ingredients together and you're needing them. Needing them means you're just calling them, you're massaging them, you're getting them in the conversations, you call them in small groups, you need them. And then you got to let it sit sometimes so it can rise. And then what happens is that's the yeast, taking place. You've done all of the work. You got to let it rise, and then your leads are starting to pop. Your buyers are starting to get pre-approved. Now you got to move to the next step. Your listings are ready for you to come in. Now you got to do the staging and do the photographs. That's the rising part. Then you put it in the oven. That's when you get in the market. You got to throw some elbows and get them contracts ratified. It's going to be hot. And it's funny because that's around the season where it starts to get warm outside. And you stay in that oven for a while. You don't keep opening the oven. You stay right in that heat. And you bake that bread until it's perfect. And then when you take it out, you start to slice it around harvest time. Around November, people start slowing down. But you got plenty of bread now. You got plenty of bread because you did the work. That's what I was saying. And then around December, you get ready to do it again. Hey guys, I'm starting all over with my contacts. Just want to make sure your birthday right. You got some new people that you met along the way that year. So these are things this is what I was saying. I was giving her analogies so that we can make sure we convey what we really do. Because if you just think we do one thing and that's it, you're going to be sadly mistaken. Every opportunity is a prospecting opportunity. If we just so happen to be looking at a new listing, I'm thinking about 4 or 5 different things I'm going to do. Not even a new listing, a new build. I meant to say new build, guys. If we go to a new build, it's a new builder, okay, B.R. Horton or Brian's Home. I'm saying, okay, yes, I'm there to show my client a house, but I'm going to let them walk around a little bit because I just saw another buyer come in and they looked like they were unchaperoned. And I'm going to go whisper to them real quick. They were paid for you to have representation. And I would be happy to represent you absolutely free to make sure you get the best deal on this house. I have some other clients that I have to attend to, but please take my card. Don't sign in with them. Just let them know I represent you for now, and I'll get back to you. And then after I finish doing all of that tomfoolery while I'm in there, I'm going to go right over to the sales agent and say, who's listing these properties for you? Do you have any spec homes that haven't moved? Would you like to give me a chance to list it? I'm thinking of several things. Or would you mind if I come over here from time to time and just sit and meet some of the buyers that come through? You'd be surprised. But I'm thinking about all of the prospecting opportunities that go along with me going out to just see one house. I remember I took Curtis out on his first training. We went, we showed the property. The person left the property. And Curtis said, well, we're done for the day. I said, are you crazy? I said, you see this community? We're going to knock on it and see that guy standing over there being nosy. Go over there and talk to him. And Curtis went over to him and started talking to him. And he got that guy to list his house.
Sure did. And he got a buyer.
It's just, we're not going home. We out here already. We're going to stay out here. We're going to make a day of this, brother. You're not going anywhere. Let's get a couple of more leads. Let's pass out some. And then he said, do you know anybody that's thinking about selling it? And he said, I might know another person. Well, let's walk around to their house. How close are you? It's nothing like having somebody bring somebody to you for you to introduce them and so on and so on. But you got to be looking. I'm looking for opportunities. And then when I feel like, okay, I've saturated or people are catching on to me, and we stood outside of a new build one time and we got 2 or 3 customers that day, just standing outside. We just standing outside on the corner, had a little shirt on with our little logo and our bang badge on. And people was like, y'all work here? I said, sure, we would love to. Bam.
Mr. Porter, that is the perfect segue.
Yes.
Can I share something right there? Because it's too good for me not to. I'm sorry. You got me all excited about that. Mr. Porter said something very important, right? We have an established relationship with D.R. Horton, and this is an announcement that we wanted to make. We've shared this information loosely in the past, but we have a relationship with the D.R. Horton over at Woodmore Overlook. Woodmore Overlook, both Pamela and Carmela, they are the sales representative at the D.R. Horton. It's the Woodmore Overlook new build community right over by the Costco and the Wegmans and all of that, maybe 2 minutes from the office, a stone's throw from the office. And she has invited us as a brokerage for our agents. I had the conversation with her about having agent open houses there at the model, and they said absolutely yes. They have said yes for our agents to come in and host either an open house at the model or host an actual day. And what that entails is when you come over, you, of course, we'll schedule it in advance, and you come over and you sit. If you want to go as a group or, your accountability partners, whatever that looks like, you go and sit. And then any of the buyers that come into the model home unrepresented, they're allowing for us to work with those buyers. At the D.R. Horton over there at Woodmore Overlook, it is a short window. It's between now and April. So this is something that you want to jump on. They are one of the very few builders in this climate that we're in now, this seller's market, that are still offering the full commission paid by the builder. They're offering a full 3% commission for agents. And then they were also offering agent bonuses. So when you sell one property, you get 3% commission. Your second property, you get, I think it's $1,000 as a bonus. Your third property, you get $2,000 as a bonus, and so forth and so on. Another thing that they're offering to
Jasmine,
buyers.
I'm going over there now.
Now that's what I'm talking about, Mr. Porter. So another thing that they are offering to our clients,
Mr. Porter.
You got it. But our last 2 clients that we got under contract with them last month, 5% seller concession. So 5% seller concession towards closing costs to our buyer clients, right? Now, that is a far cry from several other builders. We're working with probably about 6 or 7 builders at the same time with clients, like right now, that are under contract at the very least. And each of them, of course, in the seller's market, they have different incentives they're offering. Some of them are offering, you less than a percentage in commission. Ryan Homes is only offering $3,500 for one of the communities that we went under contract with for Dan Ryan Builders is only offering 1%. And then so each one of the builders, they're doing something different. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because there's a tremendous opportunity at D.R. Horton right over at the Woodmore Overlook across the street from the office. Go over there and say, hey, I'm with Porterhouse International Realty Group. My broker, Jasmine Porter, told me that she spoke with you, Carmela, and you said that you would welcome us over here. You guys are very realtor friendly, and I want to take you up on that opportunity. Okay. Carmela and Pamela, those are the sales representatives over there. Carmela is the one that I have a direct agreement with for you guys. So if we want to host anything over there, I want us to all be aware that that is a tremendous opportunity that is afforded to us. And since we are talking about prospecting from the avenue of all of these different opportunities being seasoning, if you will, or layers to the melody, these are more potential buyer clients for you as you focus on whatever your goal is for your listing. Just like a beautiful song that you love, it's not just a drum, right? So your goals, you're not going to get there as quickly with just doing just only, your sellers or just only your buyers. You're going to layer on things in a way that allows for your business to grow and be very robust within, a tremendous amount of time. So I just wanted to share that, Mr. Porter. You can continue now.
But keep the beat going.
Keep the beat going.
Keep the beat going. D, you seem like you have something to say.
Yeah, I had a question because Mr. Porter, what you said at the last point was be ready for the follow-up when it comes, and I feel like it's going to be a tidal wave. So how do you, for me, I know I get overwhelmed. How do you manage that when you have all of these responses coming to you at the same time? Do you have suggestions for us to do? I know some of us work with teams so that we could share them with the teams, but what about those of us who are not working with accountability partners, or, you know, what else would you do to ensure that you don't lose these leads that you have coming through? Is there something that we're going to do at Porterhouse to share them, or yeah, that's the question, if it makes sense.
So Jasmine said, you know, some of the sayings that we heard, the golden rule, he who has the gold makes all of the rules, you know. So if you have the gold, then you get to determine how you want to manage that gold. You follow what I'm saying, D? So the most important thing for you to do is go mine the gold. Okay, once you get the gold out of the hill, then you got to make sure that you use it and you do something with it so that you don't lose it. And so it depends on how you work. What works for me may not work for you. You know, so I'm a technology guy. I know that anything I can think of, somebody else has probably thought of it and created an app for it. So I'm going to find out. Then I got to learn how to use the app, or I got to learn how to use the software in order to, you know, turn that information into something that's useful to people that I'm going to work with. And if it's people that I already know that are great, you know, they work with me in terms of working with my buyers, or they work with me in terms of if they're just buyers, I know what to do with them. I send them over to Mike Cooper right away. And I know Mike Cooper's going to keep a list of them. He's going to do the pre-approval, and he's going to send them back to me. Or, you know, anybody like that. If it's a listing, I know I need to, you know, I don't want to go on a listing appointment. Jasmine likes going on a listing appointment. So Jasmine, take this listing for me. You know, you have any buyers I can take off your hand? So that's how we do. But you can do the same thing with your team and with your accountability partners. You parlay things to and from each other. You're not losing. You don't look at it as losing anything. You're doing business with each other. You know, I can't take 70 buyers out to see houses. So if I have that many people that I've prospected with my gold, I don't want it to go to waste. I don't want to lose it. So I make sure that I put them in capable hands. And then I'm gonna have to take a lion's share of it. And you want to take the big pieces for yourself, D. I'm saying if it's $1 million listing, we learned the hard way. You don't want to give that one out to somebody who's new. You just don't. Because if they're gonna make mistakes, let them make mistakes on the ones that are, you know, something that they can make a mistake on, and you won't feel so bad at the end of the day if it doesn't materialize. Put it that way. So we have tons of things. I mean, you can print them out if that's what you feel comfortable with. You can just print the leads out, and then say, hey, who am I going to give this to? Call people if that's what you're comfortable with. We've done all of the iterations of it. I just like the things to move fast because people associate quick service with customer service. And that's the age that we live in. People want a quick response. So how can I quickly respond? I got to think about what text message am I going to write now that's going to adequately respond to what people are probably going to say to me based upon what I left with. So if I ask for your, say for instance, I ask for your birthday and I ask for your email contact. Well, I know the next thing I want to say to that person is thank you. Right? So that's the first part of the text. Then what else do I want to say to them? By the way, I don't know if you remember, but I do real estate. If you're looking to buy, sell, and invest, you know, let me know this year. This is your year for prosperity. This is your year for progress. I appreciate that, Porter. Yes, I'm thinking about buying. Good. Let me give you, and then my next text says, good. Let me get you over to my lender, Mike Cooper. Here's his information. I'll have him call you by tomorrow. You follow me? So I have these text messages already created before I ever send out the campaign. Because I'm thinking, what are people going to say to me? And I can cut and paste it to this guy. Or, yes, I need to set up a listing appointment. How soon would you like to sell? 5 days. Good, I need to get over there right away. What time is available for you this week? Or if they saying in the next month, what time is good for you in the next 3 weeks? You follow what I'm saying? So I'm putting together these texts, and sometimes I'm just changing a number from a 1 to a 3 and a 3 to a 5, but you just got to be into it. That's why I say you need a day so you can concentrate on the responses. And then after a while, it'll slow down, and then people will respond to you the next day, and you just go back and forth with text number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've already scripted those things. So it's organized chaos. It's not just chaos. You want to organize it. And then when you get the responses that you're looking for, and then you say, well, who didn't respond to me? After everything dies down, you say, who didn't respond to me? And then you want to have a follow-up message. I hope everything is okay. I sent you a text message a few days ago. And then you might want to call that person. Make sure they're still with us. Okay, so it's an organization piece first. Okay, we're saying go. We want you to go, because the way we learned how to do these things is making mistakes by just sending a text message first. But it's a good mistake to have, because it teaches you what you need to do better next time. But at least you got something, and that's what we want you to do. We want you to feel that energy that happens when you just jump out there. Because it's quite daunting to people who have never done it before. And we want you to be daunted, because daunting is excitement. And it gets your blood going, and it gets you into the business. And you're going to need to have that with you. That needs to be your friend. All right. So that's all I was going to say. I'm not going to say anything. Talk too much today.
Good info.
Good info.
So, Mr. Porter. Yeah.
Yes.
So that just lets me know I have a lot more steps to do. I thought I was doing something with the step 1, but there's so many.
You did. But how do you feel when you did it? After you overcame that fear, how did you feel?
I didn't die.
You didn't die, right?
I didn't die.
Did you get something out of it?
I absolutely did.
Would you do it again?
Absolutely.
And
I
so
would do it again.
So this is what I'm talking about. You have to get used to that overcome it, because every time you break through one of these barriers, it's not a barrier anymore. But there's going to be another barrier on the other side of that. But you get used to just kicking those doors in, so to speak. And you don't worry about them. And then after a while, things are just so different for you. You don't even look at things the same. And we have to remember to come back and say to you guys, you just gotta kick that door underneath it. Caramon, you just gotta send out that text to everybody. I'm just gonna send it. I'm gonna push send. And he's like, wait, let's think about this. No, nothing to think about. It's done. It's done. It's over with. Now we out there. Now we gotta be prepared for what's coming. So I encourage you all to take the big leap. Always take the big leap. You're not going to die. You have nothing to lose. Take the big leap. As Anita just said, she's still with us.
Right. And what I find is, it's just, it always happens that way. You make it a bigger deal than what it is. It really isn't that big of a deal. And, you're going to get through it. I can say that I probably feel that feeling every time, but once I've done it, it's like, okay, well, really, it wasn't that big of a deal, So that's just a matter of, I guess that's a confidence builder in you also, I mean, the more you do it, then the more you realize, okay, like I said, you're not going to die, and you do have some people who reject you, and that's okay. Don't take it personally, I mean, it just, you were not for them in this moment.
Well, I take it personally, Anita. I take it personally, but I'm going to tell them about it at the end of the year. I'm going to hold my feelings till later. I'm going to get this business done first, because somebody's going to say yes, and I need to focus on those people. Somebody's going to say great things. Somebody's going to say, let's do business. Somebody's going to say, hey, I do need your help. Somebody's going to say, I know some people that need your help. Those are the people I'm focusing on. And then after I finish with all of that work, I'm gonna go back and say, you know, you kind of made me feel bad last year. You know, I came to you hand in hand, and you just, I don't know if we can be friends. You know, I put it on it. And then after this all said and done, I said, well, I'm gonna start again in 2022. I hope you're on my boat this time. You know, and then you'd be surprised. You know, so yeah, you just deal with that stuff later. You know, you got to focus on what is and not what is not. Just stop worrying about don't even try to think about what's going to happen. Just do it. Just do it. If you and then what you're going to figure out is if you would have known how easy it would have been to be on the other side of that fear, you would have did it a long time ago. You wasted a whole lot of energy fretting. And we all know that experience in different ways. This is an opportunity for you guys. Go get the gold. Go to DR Horton, knock on the door, say hi to Paula. You know, just go, just do it.
Carmela.
Push the button. Kamala. I thought you said Paula. Kamala, who else?
Carmela and Pam.
Pam, there you go, Pam. Sorry,
Carmela.
Pam. Okay, Pam. Got it. All right. That's it. So that's wonderful.
Mr. Porter, what you said is very important because the people who, okay, first of all, the people that are in your contacts in your cell phone, you already know them. They already know you. They already like you. They already trust you, right? These are people that you've already met, obviously, because you have their telephone numbers in your phone. So you've overcome a tremendous hurdle already. Other people, they're not going to have a problem with reaching out to your contact to get business from them. And the thing that is most painstaking for us as realtors is to find out that somebody that you know and you know, hey, I know this person. I see her every other week and she bought a house and I didn't even know she bought a house because somebody reached out to her. And we learned that lesson the very hard way, and we don't want you guys to learn it. And if you have, we don't want it to happen again. I had a girlfriend of mine that, you know, we lost touch for some time, and she, you knew I was in real estate. But because we had lost touch, somebody else sold her a house. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And this is when I was newer in real estate. Of course, you're like, wait a minute, I could have sold you that house. Don't let that be don't let fear of somebody not being ready at the moment that you reach out to them stop you from contacting them. Because even for the people who say no, no doesn't mean never. No just means not now. Because at some point or another, people are going to need to purchase, they're going to need to sell, they're going to need to rent, they're going to need to buy investment properties. They may want to get into real estate, or they will know somebody who does. So that applies to everybody. Mr. Porter, I see you holding up pre-approval. There it is. Kudos. Just got another pre-approval in this morning from Michael Cooper. Excellent. Prospecting. That is the name of the game, guys. Overcome whatever that fear is. Our challenge is to download that app. Mr. Porter dropped it right into HomeSnap. Go in there, grab it, download the app, put it on your phone, and then send out that message. Mr. Porter, if you would, you guys can send Mr. Porter a text if you want for him to send you a couple of the text message templates that he's already built so that you can just send those out. They're very, very simple. So if you go ahead, you want to drop them into WhatsApp?
I'll drop them in WhatsApp.
Perfect. Thank you. Drop those into WhatsApp. And if you want even more text messages than that in your BrokerMint library, in your guides, your lead generation guides that are in your BrokerMint library, there's a whole guide there on text message templates. So your back and forth text message for prospecting, okay? So does anybody else have anything they'd like to add, or any key takeaways or any questions or anything before we end the recording for today?
Yeah, could I say one? Listen, guys, when you guys find out where the gold is, don't be stingy. Share. Okay, there's enough gold out here for everybody now. You find out where something hot is, let us know, because I'm about to go over there now. I'm about to go over to DR Horton.
This is I just want to say this is very insightful, and this is right where I am. As I mentioned to you, Mrs. Porter, about my goals this year, and it is specifically prospecting, something that I really have not put my focus on, but I'm ready this year. So I'm excited about what we're talking about, and I'm excited to get to work.
Excellent, Aurelia. I'm excited to hear you guys are off to a great start. And next week, we'll have anybody who didn't get a chance to share this week what your prospecting activities have been or will be. We'll have you to share next week. So be ready. All right. I will go ahead and end the recording for today. We'll hang on for a few more moments in case anybody else has any additional questions, comments, or concerns or anything. Until next week, guys, same time, same place, every Thursday from 12:30 until 1:30 p.m. Porterhouse Realty Talks. Have a great day.